from the Military Collectibles Shop, and today I'm headed out to a flea market. So we just closed up the shop on Saturday, and I'm going out to set up for the flea market. It's a setup day, and they also have what's called early buyer admission. So they let people in. I think you have to pay 25 bucks to get in during dealer setup time. So a lot of pickers come through and looking for specific items. I would say maybe about half of the dealers will be set up today yet, and the other half roll in tomorrow morning. I'm going to be going throwing our tables up, kind of getting some of the big stuff out, and then I'm going back home tonight and getting some more bins of stuff that I'll be taking with me out tomorrow morning when we leave at 0:30. So never really liked the early morning drive, but it is what it is. It's a great flea market here in Wisconsin. I think it's actually one of the biggest ones we have here in the state. There's about 500 dealers that show up for this one. So there's always an interesting variety of stuff, and they do police it really well in terms of it being like an actual antique flea market. They don't allow a lot of the we always call it socks and paper vendors, yard art, that kind of stuff. There's a little bit of that, but it's nowhere near the what you see at some of the other places where there's like socks and sweatshirts and t-shirts and sporting goods stuff or whatever. They really try to keep this one antique focused. So a lot of different things, and it's real centrally located in Wisconsin. So we get a lot of people from Illinois, Iowa, Indiana, and as well as Wisconsin and Minnesota for this one. So it's always a fun one to go to. We'll be setting up. So thanks for coming along for the ride. I can use the company. So a lot of the people are still setting up. So we're kind of wandering around just picking. But it's nice to be able to get in and see the stuff before everybody else gets here. But it's a lot of walking back and forth, a lot of empty booths, a lot of people waiting to arrive. So this is the early bird gets the worm. So I'm loaded up. I got the tables out. I'm headed back home to load up some more stuff from the shop. Did find a couple things, nothing super great, but I'll share that with you guys at the end. So there's always something cool to see here. Again, it's a great flea market, and flea markets are a great way to socialize with other collectors and other dealers. To get people to know that what you're looking for, and what you collect. So you make these relationships with dealers, and a lot of times they'll give you a call when they get something. The one thing you do have to watch out for though at flea markets is that flea markets are kind of a place where unscrupulous dealers do peddle their wares. I did see several reproduction items that were being sold as originals. I did see some things that were actually sold that were reproduction. And unfortunately at most flea markets there's little to no recourse. It's caveat emptor, or buyer beware. Is kind of the law of the land. So if you don't know what you're doing, what you're getting into, you have to be careful. But that being said, there are opportunities because it works both ways. A lot of these antique dealers buy out estates, so they end up dealing with all kinds of stuff. They might not have the specific knowledge on militaria, so that works to play in your favor. They'll know it's worth something, but they don't know necessarily what things are worth, or they don't care. They just want to get their percentage and move it down the road. So that's always great when that happens. But again, flea markets are great. I wish they didn't happen so early in the day. Tomorrow, like I said, we'll be leaving at 0:30 to get out here. The gates actually open for the public at 7, so I think we're going to try to get out here at 6. So I probably got to leave my house about 5. But that's just what you do when you're flea marketing. So, all right, we'll see you again soon. So here we are, early morning at the flea market. The gates, people are lining up to come in. Dealers are doing their last minute setups. I'm wandering around still picking stuff. I still have to set up all my stuff, but I can do that when I'm done picking stuff. Alright, hey everybody, I'm back in the store, just freshly unloaded from the flea market today, so a little hot. So what did I get besides a sunburn? Always wear sunscreen, always wear a hat. Should have had more sunblock on. But at any rate, it did pretty good. You know, the flea market is a great place to network, to talk with other collectors, meet other dealers. Unfortunately, this particular flea market had more military dealers than usual, which is great. You know, competition never hurts. But it did dilute some of our sales a little bit, I think, because a lot of us had some of the same stuff. But our sales were pretty good, which is nice. And there were a lot of guys picking, not only the dealers who were set up there, but a lot of guys picking. A lot of guys come up from Illinois, Iowa, Indiana. A lot of people in from Indiana today that I talked to. But I gave away a lot of cards for the shop. I was able to promote the shop, let people know the things I'm looking for, find out what they're looking for, and hopefully start to generate some of these symbiotic collector relationships. So again, flea markets are a great place to do that, and the flea market season is just starting. So I just wanted to go through with some of the stuff that I picked up today and share it with you. So I got a Vietnam era helmet, just the shell, but I've got plenty of liners. I actually even have several covers, so we'll get that fixed up. I got a 45 holster. What's interesting about this one is it has the kind of the white MP holster holder. I'm not even sure what the designation for it is. You know, it's written on there, but got a Russian naval hat of some form. I don't know. It was cheap. Kids love it. I don't know. We'll see. I got some interesting grenades with some real heavy 9-penny nails. I'm not sure what the purpose of this was. They're obviously outside for a long time. But they're interesting. If, you know, as a good friend of ours once told me, if I was dumb enough to buy it, there's got to be someone out there dumber than me. So I just couldn't let them lay there. Kind of neat. Interesting to see the variations in the pineapple fragments. So, you know, probably some kind of yard art. I don't know. Jarts. Who remembers jarts? Who remembers actually putting a helmet on and going out and throwing jarts straight up in the air? Yeah. It's a wonder we survived. All right, got a kind of an interesting vintage shirt. Bow hunter's shirt. You know, probably from the 50s or 60s, with a bunch of bow hunting patches on it. But what makes this one interesting is that it actually has a Pioneer, the 64th Engineer Bowmen of Japan patch on the back of it. So that's really kind of cool. Kind of an unusual patch from, you know, an organization during the occupation of Japan. Got in a bunch of the U.S. Army pocket knives. These are great, and I think I got 2, 4, 6, 7, 8 of these maybe. Multi-purpose pocket knives, and guys like to collect these because they're It's a nice knife for one, but also a lot of guys, because they're not only maker marked, but they're also dated. So a lot of guys want to get knives from the time that they're in their service. And these are a variety of dates from the 90s, a couple from the Vietnam era, early 60s, 62 and 63, I believe. These are all in pretty good condition. 1967. This one's made by Imperial. So that was kind of cool. Got in a couple sets of U.S. Mountain Trooper ski goggles, the snow goggles, the sunscreen sort of things. These would come in handy today with the bright sun. Got in a big 45-star flag. So 45-star flag. Anyone? Spanish-American War period. So nice sewn stars, rope bunting. A little knackered up, but a very old and a very large flag. So that if I had someone else here, I'd show you how big it is, but I don't. Because whenever you're unloading, you're alone. Speaking of flags, got in a Saudi something. I don't exactly know what this is. I do know the top corner patch is Saudi. And then it's got another emblem. Perhaps some of our friends who can habla Arabic can let me know. Always appreciate the help on that. The world's a much smaller place when we can all know what everybody else is talking about. A couple of my favorite things. Got a really cool piece of trench art. World War I trench art with an applied iron cross on it. This is really unusual. One, the shell has actually been like silvered in some form. I'm not really completely sure how they did it. They plated it or how they did it. I believe it's I'm not even sure whose shell it is. 95 December 18KY PDPS 9. I think this might be a French shell, but it says victory, and I think they're using the cross as an and sign. Victory and peace, World War 14 to 18. So a very cool, very unusual piece of trench art with an iron cross that's been vaulted and applied through a screw means onto the shell. So that was really cool. And then the piece, the resistance, a teeny tiny little Russian Guard de Corps helmet that's actually a shot glass. So designed to kind of sit on its end like that, and I suppose you could do a shot. Really wish I had some vodka right now. I'd demonstrate it for you, but I don't. But a very cool, very highly detailed piece. It's actually made of silver, so a very, very unusual piece. So an interesting variety of stuff. You never know what you're going to find at flea markets. That's one of the beauties of them. Chances are you never actually find what you're looking for at flea markets. Again, there's a lot of competition. You want to get the good pickings, get there early. As always, if you see something you like, buy it. But caveat emptor, buyer beware. At a flea market, there's no recourse if you paid too much or you suddenly discover that it's not real. You can't go back to the dealer and say, hey, this is not real. They just don't work like that. So. Okay, well, I hope you've enjoyed our little romp to the flea market today. I really need to go home and take a shower and go to bed because I'm really tired. But thanks for joining me. Always appreciate taking you along. Hope you enjoy it as well. So we'll be back soon with another new episode of What's New at the Military Collectibles Shop, which will show you some of the stuff we got in from this past week. So until then, I'm Jerry. Thank you, everybody. Take care. See you soon.